The galactic shipyard buzzed with the usual morning chatter of 100 different species, each one convinced their vessel was superior to the rest. In the far corner of Bay 47, Captain Stein stood beside what could only be described as a mechanical embarrassment, patchwork starship cobbled together from salvaged parts, outdated engines, and hull plating that had seen better centuries. "That's your ship?" A Vrixian pilot sneered, his scaled face twisting in disgust as he passed by. "I've seen better wrecks in asteroid fields." Stein said nothing. He'd heard it all before. The Defiant Dream, as he'd optimistically named it, was indeed a sorry sight. Its mismatched panels created a quilt of different alloys, its engine couplings were held together with improvised welds, and its navigation system was 3 generations behind current standards. But it was his, bought with every credit he'd saved working cargo runs for the past decade. "You'll never make it past the first jump gate," another captain called out, a Tholian whose sleek racing vessel gleamed in the hangar lights. "That scrap heap will tear itself apart the moment you hit warp." The mockery continued throughout the day. Even the dockworkers whispered and laughed as they passed, placing bets on how long the Defiant Dream would last in the upcoming Frontier Runner grueling race through uncharted space that separated real pilots from dreamers. That's when Fiza arrived. The human mechanic walked into Bay 47 carrying a worn toolkit that had traveled more light years than most pilots. Her reputation preceded her, a genius with engines, a wizard with power systems, and someone who saw potential where others saw only junk. She'd worked on everything from luxury yachts to military destroyers, but lately, she'd grown tired of pampered ships and their equally pampered owners. "You're Captain Stein?" Fiza asked, her dark eyes scanning the Defiant Dream with an intensity that made Stein uncomfortable. "That's me," he replied cautiously, "but if you're here to tell me my ship is garbage, you'll have to take a number." Fiza smiled, not the pitying smile he'd grown accustomed to, but something different, something that looked almost like excitement. "I'm here because I heard someone was crazy enough to enter the Frontier Run in a ship everyone's written off." She walked around the vessel, running her hands along the hull, tapping panels, listening to the echoes. "Tell me, Captain, do you know what you actually have here? A miracle if it makes it to the starting line." "No," Fiza said, pulling out a scanner from her toolkit. "You have a Kepler-class frame, disguised under all this mismatched plating. That's military-grade construction from the expansion wars. These engines, their XR7 cores outdated, yes, but overbuilt to survive combat conditions. And this power distribution system," she traced a conduit with her finger, "it's completely backwards, which is probably why it's so inefficient. But flip it around, recalibrate the flow, and you'd have power output that would make modern ships jealous." Stein stared at her. "You're serious?" "Dead serious. Your ship isn't junk, Captain. It's a diamond buried in rust. Someone who built this either didn't know what they had, or they deliberately hid its capabilities." Fiza's eyes gleamed with the challenge. "Give me 48 hours and a free hand, and I'll show you what the Defiant Dream can really do. I can't pay much, I don't want much, just a chance to prove something." She looked at the sleek ships in the neighboring bays. "These pilots think new and shiny means superior. I want to show them that human ingenuity and a little elbow grease beats factory specs any day." For the next 2 days, Fiza worked miracles. She stripped away the unnecessary weight, rerouted power systems with an efficiency that defied conventional engineering, and discovered that what everyone thought were old, failing engines were actually partially disengaged, operating at a fraction of their capacity. The Kepler-class frame, once she'd removed the camouflaging panels, revealed reinforced superstructure, capable of handling forces that would shred civilian vessels. "Your previous owner was smuggling," Fiza explained as she recalibrated the navigation computer. "This ship was built to look worthless while secretly being one of the toughest vessels in the sector. They just never properly maintained it after the expansion wars ended." On the morning of the Frontier Run, the other pilots gathered at the starting line. Their laughter died when the Defiant Dream powered up. The sound was different, no longer the wheezing cough of failing systems, but a deep, resonant hum that vibrated through the deck plating. The ship still looked like assembled scrap, but something had fundamentally changed. The race began. Through the first jump gate, the sleek racers shot ahead, their pilots confident, but as the course progressed through gravitational anomalies, radiation storms, and unstable wormholes, one by one, the pristine vessels began to falter. Their delicate systems overheated. Their optimized frames couldn't handle the unexpected stresses. They fell behind or dropped out entirely. The Defiant Dream pushed forward. Every system Fiza had rebuilt performed flawlessly under pressure. The military-grade frame absorbed impacts that would have been catastrophic to civilian ships. The overbuilt engines, now properly calibrated, provided thrust with power reserves to spare. When a solar flare knocked out half the competitor's navigation systems, the Defiant Dream's ancient, redundant backups kept Stein on course. As Stein crossed the finish line first, to everyone's shock he looked at the communications screen where Fiza watched from the ground station. She was grinning, surrounded by stunned officials and spectators. "They mocked your ship," she said simply, "but they forgot something important. Humans don't build disposable things. When we build something, even if it looks like scrap, we build it to last. We build it to be fixed, improved, and pushed beyond its limits. That's not junk out there, Captain. That's human engineering doing what it does best, surviving, adapting, and winning against all odds." The Vrixian pilot who'd first mocked the Defiant Dream approached Stein at the award ceremony, his expression humble. "I need to know," he said. "What did you do to that ship?" Stein smiled, thinking of Fiza and her 48 hours of relentless work. "I gave it to someone who understood its true power, a human mechanic who saw what no one else could see potential." In the end, they learned an important lesson that day. Mock human craftsmanship at your own risk, because beneath the surface of what looks like scrap, there might just be a masterpiece waiting for the right hands to unleash it. And the Defiant Dream soared on, no longer mocked, no longer underestimated, a testament to human ingenuity and the unyielding spirit of those who refuse to accept the word impossible.